Hey, what's up you guys? ShartimusPrime here doing another movie review on a DC movie called Green Lantern. Thanks so much for you guys that have been asking me to do a movie review on this. I'm actually very touched by that because, you know, it's really cool. Actually try to avoid doing movie reviews because I think they kind of suck. But, you know, getting positive feedback from you guys is actually really nice. And before I get to this DC movie review, I want to take a sip of my coffee right here. Oh, there you go. You're welcome, Quorum TV. There you go. I actually don't have a Green Lantern shirt. This is the greenest shirt I have. I'm wearing my Green Lantern ring. Alright? And I really like the movie. Just have to flat out say it. I love the movie. I thought it was awesome as hell. Had a great time. Been pumped about Green Lantern. Just a little background about, you know, my history with Green Lantern is not very extensive. I've been reading Green Lantern for the past few years since Jeff Johns really jumped on board with Green Lantern Rebirth. I think there may be a small period in there where I stopped reading those comics, but for the past few years I've been, you know, really a fan of Green Lantern, but, you know, my overall, you know, geek lifetime haven't really been huge on Green Lantern. I only have two Hal Jordan figures. They're both DC Direct, and my girlfriend just recently bought them for me, so she's actually gotten pumped about Green Lantern, so, you know, we're both very excited about it and everything. Got to see it at the Daly City movie theater. Those of you who see my X-Men First Class video, I complained about the Tan Fran theater, so the crowd was a lot more pumped and everything, so I was stoked about that. And I did some research and made sure to see it in 3D, thanks to Sean Long and Boxing Type X. I asked those guys, and they said the 3D was well worth it, and it was. I really try to avoid seeing bullshit 3D movies. It pisses me off. I actually did not see Thor in 3D because I heard it wasn't so great, and I just don't like paying an extra $3 for something where I don't think it's worth it. You can get a mini meal deal with $3, man. It's a lot of money. So, well, it's not a lot, but, you know, I saw it in 3D and it was great. It being a space movie and everything, or supposedly a space movie, I thought it was well worth it. So, like I said, overall, love the movie. And as with all my other movie reviews, spoiler alerts. Oh, I love the spoilers. So I'll try to make this not a 20-minute video. And because I like the movie, I want to start with the cons. This movie did get bad reviews, and I really don't care about that because it's a comic book movie. I'm a comic book fan, so I'm going to have my own opinion about it. And but there's some of the things that people said that I kind of do agree with. But first thing that bothered me about the movie that I did not like so much was there was not enough space in it. From the interviews at the conventions that I'd seen, I had the impression that we would see like 75% space and like 25% Earth in this. Like the beginning of the movie introducing Hal Jordan on Earth and all that, and then he gets, you know, out into space, and that's where most of the movie is going to take place. That's what I was hoping for. There comes a point in the movie where he kind of, you know, during his training, he quits and goes back to Earth, and it's like, oh, what? You just took us on this huge ride into space and to Oa and everything, and now we're back on Earth? I thought that was weak. I didn't like that so much. People complained about the editing. Now, there was a point in the movie where it kind of jumps from Oa to Earth, and I kind of had, you know, I was telling myself, like, oh, this kind of reads like a comic book. It's like, meanwhile, on Oa, and it kind of jumped back and forth, and I was like, oh, it's like a comic, that's neat. But after the movie, my girlfriend was kind of like, it's kind of weird how the editing was weird, and I kind of felt like it jumped around in a weird way. And I told her, you know, about my experience about thinking about it like a comic. She's like, oh, that makes sense. And she's read some comics, so, you know, she was like, okay, that does make sense. But for those that don't read any comics, don't think that, you know, they're just going to probably have a weird taste in their mouth from that. And I really feel like this movie was made for the comic book fans. Unlike some of the comic book movies where it's supposed to be made, I don't know for who, but this was very, very, you know, comic book fan directed, I think. I think it was very true to the comics. It did have its differences, of course, as all comic book movies will and always will have differences. I get so frustrated with people thinking that I think that comic book movies need to be 100% accurate. No, they'll never be 100% accurate. And you know what? I honestly don't want it to be 100% accurate because I might as well just read the comic. I like to see the differences. I like how they changed up the costumes. I like that, like what they did with Parallax. Parallax is an entity, okay? He's the entity. He's the fear entity, and he possesses, and he possesses other creatures and whatnot. Like how Jordan gets possessed by Parallax at some point. And this is all comics, right? But in the movie, it's like Krona, who's one of the Guardians, gets possessed by Parallax, and then that's Parallax. A little different, not a big deal. And he didn't look anything like comic book Parallax or anything, which I was totally fine with. I loved the main villain. I thought it was really cool. I like how they used Hector Hammond as kind of like a beacon for Parallax and everything. I loved how Hal Jordan and Hector Hammond were kind of connected. But back to the negative parts. Okay, so I was also frustrated with Kilowog. Kilowog was kind of more had a cameo appearance than actually playing a part in the movie. If you know anything about Kilowog, he's the drill sergeant for the Green Lantern Corps. He trains everybody, and it's kind of like Kilowog's one of those characters where it's like you hate him, but you love him because you hate him because he's such a dick and he's so harsh. But it's all with love, you know what I mean? It's one of those kinds of things. He's so harsh and mean, but and they portrayed the character well with that. You know, they have the whole thing where he punches Hal right in the face, and he's just super super harsh on him. But I honestly think that Sinestro did a little bit more training for Hal Jordan than Kilowog did. And it just seemed a bit short. And that's one of the things that I wish that had taken a lot more place, or that scene had gone on longer and there was a lot more development with his abilities and everything than the love story. And some people feel like the love story was forced. I don't think it was really forced. I just felt that went on too long. The whole thing, like, oh, you're not responsible enough, and and how can I get myself involved with you, Hal, if you're gonna be a space cop and all that, and I just felt like I didn't really need that. Thor, the love story in Thor, I thought was perfect because they touch on it, but they didn't get too involved, and that's why I like. Because just the way the world works, Hollywood has to have a love story. Just has to have it. Oh, I have my voice. But Hollywood has to have love stories. That's just the way it is. And so just touching on it a little bit, like how they did in Thor, I thought was perfect. This went too long. I kind of got bored with the love story a little bit. So that was frustrating. And then the Green Lantern Corps, I thought it was kind of weak how they didn't really do anything as a Corps. It's like they kind of go through this whole thing of presenting the Green Lantern Corps, and then the Corps doesn't really do anything. They're just kind of there to cheer and not much else, and show up at the very end, which was kind of weird. I guess they're just watching what Hal Jordan's going to do. I don't know. So I thought those were the weak parts of the movie for me. Now, the cool parts, man, I bought the characters. I was totally sold on Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan. I bought into it. Like, right away, the first thing you see him do that made me think that it was Hal Jordan is he's wrapping the gift while driving his riding around his muscle car. I don't remember what kind of car it was, but was it an older Camaro? I honestly don't remember. I'm not really even a car guy. I don't know why I'm trying to call it. I know I'm gonna fail, but he's wrapping the gift, with newspaper and driving at the same time. It's like, oh, there you go. That's Hal Jordan. Like right away. That's my Hal Jordan. That's how I see Hal Jordan. And the whole thing, the test pilot stuff, the way he handled that and using, Carol Ferris as a decoy and really, pushing the limit and stuff. I just thought it was great. I just saw him as Hal Jordan. I really got into the character. There's actually a couple of times where I was like, oh my god, dude, that's like comic book Hal Jordan on screen. Like when there's a shot or something where it's from the neck up, because the costume is very different from the comics, right? Not very different, but it's different from the comics. And I felt like I was looking at a comic book picture on the big screen. It was just so dead on. I thought his face and the way he portrayed Hal Jordan, one little minor gripe is that, it felt like there's something wrong with Ryan Reynolds' neck. Like he's always tilting to the side a little bit, which I thought was kind of funny, but not a big deal. Very, very nitpicky. But I really bought into it. I thought the first time when they're on Oa and Tomari, and that scene with Tomari was great. He's like, we're going to fly now. I thought to myself, the thought that popped in my head is like, oh shit, he's gonna love this. I got stoked for him about to fly, and sure enough, he's doing somersaults in the air and just loving it, you know? And I just thought I was just really into the character. I just really bought into it. It's a very, very simple story. Green Lantern's not very complex, and I think they just nailed it. It wasn't hard, didn't, you know, not... It would have taken more effort to fuck it up, and they didn't. They did a great job. The visuals were great, I thought. Telling the story of Hal Jordan was great. I thought Sinestro was cool. I just loved seeing Sinestro on there, and the way he spoke. The actor was fantastic. I thought Carol Ferris was really good. I thought she did a great job. Hector Hammond was awesome. I loved how the Guardians looked. I loved they added that touch with the clear part over their head. They added that long extra robe thing, and they're kind of hovering up there. I just thought that was really cool. I just thought the way they portrayed all the characters was very, very cool. Just didn't give us enough Kilowog as far as the characters go. The constructs were awesome. A lot of constructs. That's one thing I was really scared of, man. They gave us a lot of really cool constructs. And they're really complex, too. They're actually they're like really good movie version constructs. Because in the comics, I feel, well, I guess like with Jon Stewart, they get really complex, you know, because of his architectural background. But, you know, for the most part, the constructs can be kind of goofy, you know, and especially with some of the cartoon movies, it can be kind of simple or kind of goofy, but they didn't really give us any goofy constructs. They're all really cool. Love the catapult. Love at the end he had 2 jets and the way he was strapped in. Oh, that was sick. Anyone else notice that the first construct in the movie and the last construct in the movie were the same construct? That was cool. I like, you know, the big fist. I got really pumped off of that. I love the way the light looks. Like, it floats in the air, but it's got a density to it. I just thought that was really neat. Just love the visuals, man. It just looked really, really cool. It was exactly what I wanted Green Lantern to look like and the constructs to look like and everything. I love how the light made a sound. I love the sound it made. I just thought it was really, really awesome. I like, as far as giving me like the core but the core like comic bookness of Green Lantern, I just thought it was just dead on. I really like the movie. I want to know, did anyone else catch Jeff Johns? I think I saw Jeff Johns at the end of the movie. You know, when Parallax is taking over the city. I think he was in the crowd running, like kind of running towards the camera. He was wearing a blue baseball cap. Did anyone else catch that? I thought I saw Jeff Johns. But that's one thing I want to ask you guys. But yeah, that's basically my review. I really liked it. I don't know if I'm missing any points that I wanted to make. I thought Abin Sur was awesome as hell. I thought it was funny. I thought there was a lot of lighthearted humor in it, and it made the movie go by fast. You know, I thought that was really well done. The scene with his friend and everything, and or when he first says the oath, of course, that was great. I think one of my favorite parts of the movie is after he saves the day with that whole that car track thing. When he visits Carol Ferris in the balcony, like through the window, like paying a huge homage to Superman, but making fun of it at the same time. Like he's like, "Oh, miss," and he's talking in that voice. He's trying to pretend like she's not going to recognize him. He's like, "Hal, is that you?" He's like, "Miss," and she's like, "What do you think? I'm not going to recognize you because you're hiding your cheekbones? I've known you my whole life. I've seen you naked." Like, I thought that was hilarious. That was great. So I just loved the feeling of the movie overall. It was just a really fun movie. I liked it a lot. So saw it once in 3D. I want to see it again this weekend. I've been pumped off of Green Lantern, been running around with this thing, except for work, you know, but I've just been pumped off of Green Lantern. I want to get myself a cool DC UC Green Lantern figure. I've just been or open the one I have in package, which I shouldn't do. I don't know. But that's my movie review, you guys. Hope you dig it. And yeah, I really liked the movie. Thought they paid, you know, huge. I dropped my ring. Thought they paid you know, a lot of respect to the comics and everything, and but still changed it up in their own way. And yeah, I really dug it. Hope you guys dig my review, and catch you later. Peace.